All right, today's objectives, we have a couple things we're looking at. Our main things we're looking at in the guys game is we're looking at your 2-person and 3-person mechanics. And then we will also be doing the state rules clinic. So we're going to start with the state rules clinic. Basically, how the state rules clinic is going to work is we have to watch a video, and then I will send, or not I, JJ will send a list of those who are in this clinic. He will send the list to the state for them to give us credit. And then we're going to work on after the state rules clinic. It will also be when we will review 2- and 3-person mechanics. But before we start all that, wanted to say a big thank you for everybody who came out to the Union Pines scrimmage. It was a good day. We had a lot of different things. We had to run a lot. Some things that we were looking at is remember the boxes for these guys, the subs boxes are smaller. So remember to check that before the game to make sure that's right. Secondly, we've got to keep these players out of the substitution box and out of the coach's box. And so that is really important for us, is to keep them out of that area. We had an issue with that on the field we were at. We had to constantly remind them about that. Dan, you were on the other field. And anything you saw before I continue on?
Just in terms of like gameplay or conduct or
anything we need to know, like any problems or anything you were seeing?
nothing too crazy. No, not really anything that was different from the game I had with you. Maybe just like a little bit chippier with some teams. I don't know any in particular, but just like a little bit chippier, a lot of one-handed stuff that probably was unnecessary. Just a couple of just a couple things like that, like one-handed slashes that didn't really need to be done, and then just some other like maybe unnecessary roughness calls. But other than that, it was just pretty normal.
All right. Anybody had any comment on Saturday? I had a couple more, but I didn't want to. I don't want to steal anybody else's thunder. And JJ, FYI, I cannot pull up this state clinic. It is not coming in the learning center.
All right, I'll work on it. See if I can get it from my end.
The other thing, a couple things that we saw. Hey, remember, especially this first week, this is the boys' season, so let's remember we don't do stick checks like the girls, but we do have those 5-yard meetings before every game. Hey, 5-yard meetings. Make sure that the eye black is 1 stripe. All right. Go ahead and make sure that that's there. Make sure they ain't got any jewelry visible. Make sure they have a valid mouthpiece, not just a piece of plastic. A valid mouthpiece. Make sure they have a butt end of the sticks. That's what the job of the umpire and field judge, the referee. Your job is to give the pregame reminding. When you are pregame out on the field, go ahead and check that their uniforms are legal. Try to fix that in the pregame. When I say legal, we got to make sure that they have a team, if they have leg sleeves on, they all got to be the same color. All right. If they wear sweatpants, they all got to be the same color. So let's don't get super nitpicky about it, but let's try to be aware, because what we don't want to do is get in a situation where they haven't heard it all day and then they get into a playoff scenario and then they're illegally equipped. So let's try to work with them and make sure that. So just be aware of that. The other thing I will say we saw is the substitution. Players have got to go through the substitution area. Let's be watchful of that. The final thing is if you feel it tightening, if the game needs to be tightened up, go ahead and verbalize it. Hey, we got to tighten this thing up. What are you really doing when you verbalize it? Yeah, you're telling your partner, but you're also going ahead and telling them the teams where they know, hey, we're going to tighten this thing up if y'all don't play it right. Other than that, that was the main thing I saw at the scrimmages. And hopefully JJ can find the state clinic, because it's not on NFHS Learn that I could find.
John, keep going. All else fails, I'll pull up my bootleg copy, as it were.
Okay. All right. Well, we will just start with we'll go ahead and just start with the actual our mechanics. We're going to start with 3-person mechanics because that's what we're going to do the most. So 3-person mechanics is pulling up for us. All right. Slideshow, share screen. Every time I share this screen, I forget to do this first. All right. 3-person mechanics. So most of our games are going to be 3 people. Where you're going to see 2 is in cases of emergency or in a JV game. So we're going to work with 3 first, and then we'll show you how to do 2-man. All right, so it's talking a little bit here about what are the mechanics. Basically, I want you to focus on mechanics are simply the way we move on the field. It's our way of being a team. It's our way of running set plays. The goal is for clarity for all involved to understand actions and communication. Why do we have mechanics? The mechanics are basically there for the following: position. All right, we want to make sure we're in the best spot for the most game situations. Hustling to your next spot is one of the best ways to show that you are focused on the game and giving your maximum effort. Consistency. We're looking at to make the same calls as our partners and on both ends of the field. The same whistle in the first half will be the same whistle in the second half. That's the reason we always tell you that, hey, come out strong. Let's go ahead and say, hey, that slash is not going to be tolerated today. You come out strong. It's a whole lot easier to loosen up at the end than it is to tighten up. All right. So be tight quick. And then as they play and you get that feel that they can play, then loosen up a little bit and let that go. If they can't handle a looser game, then call it tight the whole game. Fairness centers on the knowledge that you bring to the game and the awareness factors heavily involved in the game. Safety. That is our number one priority. As officials, that is why we are there, is to keep them safe. I will tell you, you always be on your toes for safety concerns. Yesterday in the scrimmage, we had a player knock out another player with flagrant contact. He went straight to the head, but this happened. It was the first game of the day, 3 minutes into the game. So just always be ready to make sure we take care of the safety issues. All right. Overall, the main reason we have mechanics, again, is to work as a team. All right. This is why it's important. The coaches, all they care about, what's the call, who's getting the ball, where will the ball start. We need to be clear, concise, and consistent. When we use clear, concise, and consistent mechanics, coaches know what is happening as one less thing they will be uneasy about. Communication is your first line of defense when dealing with upset coaches. Now, we're going to talk about that one a little bit just because we had upset coach. Hey, look, when you deal with coaches, all right, you answer their questions. We expect you to answer questions. As officials, you should answer questions. But what you should not continuously be done to you is once you've answered the question, is they continue to ask the same question over again, or they continue to jab at that question. They may not like every answer you give them, but the answer is the answer for that. Do not keep going back to it, and do not let them keep jabbing at you. All right? I've answered your question, coach. If that doesn't work, conduct them and let's go. Key consideration, know your physical abilities. Anticipate the play. Look, for example, I'm going to use myself. Hey, that last game we did, hey, I was cheating everywhere I could. My legs were dead. All right? Hey, know the play. You see the plays fixing to turn it over, get on your horse and start moving. Hey, also know the play. If you know, hey, Team A and Team B struggle to maintain possession of the ball and pass the ball, maybe you don't run immediately. You stay where you are close to play and can make the decision. Because it all is about putting yourself in the best position to make the best decision. All right. What goes into being in position or being at the right place at the right time? Ball location. This will determine how close you are to the play, the crease, or the midline. On and off ball, lead and single generally. When do we transition from on ball to off ball? All right. Remember, in our setup position, the lead's primary focus is GLE and inline. So when the trail is transitioning into the lead, their number one position attempt is to get down there where the defenders are. The C's number one is they are going to go to the midline because that is where their counting begins. That 10-second count. Trail, you're cleaning everything up in what we would call in basketball the backcourt. In transition, that's our setup. All right. Anticipate over and back, and shots. We talked about this a bunch yesterday. Hey, when you have a bunch of people right there near the middle line going for a loose ball, hey, that you got to be aware of who's offsides. That's a likelihood of offsides. All right. Also, that trail or that C is going to have to know for over and back purposes. So again, positioning is important because it's determined by where the ball is. Vision. Am I inside of the play getting lighthouse, or am I yo-yoing in and out as needed? If I'm lighthouse, I'm trying to look over everything and just scan a vision, where if I'm doing a yo-yo coming in and out, I'm getting a better position because I'm closer to the ball and where the play is going to happen. All right. In pregame, you establish your credibility when you take care of your pregame duties. All right. Your interaction with the various game stakeholders will determine your level of success during the game. Don't minimize this part of the game. All right. In pregame, we're looking at coaches. We're looking at the table staff, captains, coin toss, face-off players, pregame team lineup, in home, on the field, play, timeouts, in between quarters. All right. Table staff. I'm not going to read all this to you. I'm just going to give you the overview of what's important. All right. If you're working with SSOA and you're doing 3, if I'm your referee, all right, you have a sheet that we sent. It's on JJ's Arbiter, and we've sent out a link to it, and I'll send out another one next week and the following week. Go over that with your people. I, as a referee, I always go over the table. All right. I look at my field judge. Hey, you're always doing the clock keeper. All right. Make sure they are aware of the procedures there. Umpires, for me and your pregame. Hey, umpires, you're my one who's inspecting the field. Make sure, hey, there's pads if we're playing on a football field on the field goal post. Make sure the net is in good condition. All right. Make sure the lines are drawn right. That also, when we come out there, that's when we start looking at player equipment. All right. All right, player pregame lineup. This is where we can do the most preventative officiating as officials. All right, goalie's left shoulder to the goal they are defending. Defense, mid, attack after goalie. You don't have to line them up that way. They'll either do it, and if they don't, it's not the end of the world. Just get the goalies right. All right. Face-off players should be on the midline, 5 yards apart. All right. Umpire and field judge, remember during this time, this is when you're going through, check to make sure there's a butt in on the sticks. Make sure they got a mouthpiece. Make sure that they don't have multiple streaks of eye black. Make sure that they don't have any jewelry on. Other thing in this area, while we're talking about it, there's a player from Union Pines that has a tinted shield on his helmet. All right. They've been instructed. They have to get that approved by the state in order for it to be legal. They can have a clear one, or they can have glasses. They can't have both.
And it doesn't matter how it's attached, inside or outside.
So make sure you're checking that in pregame. Messages, pregame message. Hey, I'm short enough that it goes through, but we got it through it. All right. Look, white talk to white, black talk to black. Players, reminder, there's 0 tolerance toward profanity. When the whistle blows, set up the next play. Stop what you're doing. Sportsmanship. Our number 1 priority is safety. Questions are okay, but comments are not. All right, goalies cross. Let's go. All right. Pre-face-off. All right, let's talk about face-off for a moment. Remember, motorcycle grip, illegal. All right. Got to have the top hand palm up. Both hands have got to be on the ground. The sticks. We saw this a lot yesterday at Union Pines, but we were using a lot of people who were not normal face-off guys. All right. But in regular season, the tape cannot be on the cross. It has to be on the stick only. It has to be a different color than the player's glove and the cross. All right. So, hey, first couple weeks, we talked about it. They're not required to have a face-off meeting. Again, this can be something that the umpire does while the field judge and the referee are doing table, or just work with your referee to find it out. But offer to the coaches a face-off meeting. They're welcome to attend. Their players. The perks of them doing a face-off meeting, hey, we will check the sticks. Make sure they're legal so they can get them legal before the game starts with the tape. All right. because that's the worst delay penalty you can get. So try to work with that ahead of time. Go through your face-off scenarios and how you're going to do it as a crew. All right, 3-man. You have a helper and you have, oh, I went too fast. A helper. All right. Then you have the referee, for lack of better terms. And then you have your field judge or your wingman over here. Okay. This guy will come down here and become either the lead or trail. This guy will come back out here and be the single side. This one will stay where it is, and they will either be a lead or trail depending on where the ball is. I always like looking at this. Primary responsibility. This guy right here is primary responsibility. This, making sure these players don't cross, making sure these players don't cross.
John, I don't see nothing that you're pointing to or anything.
Oh, sorry, my mouse is not showing up. All right, so the R, where it says R down here, that's where they're looking at the boxes, where the goals are. They're making sure the players are inside the box. All right. The R is also checking the wing on the outside on where they are. That's the R in this example's area. The helper or the L on this scenario, you are to help the R with the restraining line closest to you. All right. And then also you are the primary person looking at the opposite wing. All right. And then you assist with actually what's going on in the face-off. The helper, you're going in there making sure their heads are out of the zone. You're letting the F in this example, or the referee, single side guy. All right, you're letting them know when the field is ready and they can start. You're making sure their heads are out of the zone. You're also making sure their sticks are horizontal and off the line. Those are the two primaries for them. The referee, or the guy administering the face-off, all right, is the F on this picture. Your primary is the two guys on the ground. All right. And then as you back up, you start taking single side responsibilities. All right. Helper. All right. Make sure both players are in legal position. That's both. Backs out diagonally to be clear of the player's path. Now, guys, you got to know your agility. All right. Hey, if your legs are dead, you've had 4 weeks, 4 games that week, and your legs are dead. Hey, you just tell the guys, hey guys, it's going to be a long whistle. It's going to be a long delay. And then back out, get clear. Hey, you got fresh legs and you know you can move. Hey, maybe you have a quicker whistle. You don't have to tell them it's going to be a quicker whistle, but I always like to tell the player, hey, this is going to be a long whistle. We're not trying to get them to the false start. All right. Don't try to trick them. All right. It's the same thing I'm going to tell you as a face-off person. If it ain't right and it's going to take you more than a second or two, let them put their knees down for a moment. Don't make them crouch that whole time, or either stand them up and get the sticks there. All right. We're not trying to make them false start. You got to watch for players facing for early movement and other violations. Our number one, this happened and we almost missed it as a crew on Saturday. Look, number one, where must the first movement be? It must be on the ball. The player cannot anymore hit the other player and not make a movement for the ball. They cannot knock them off. All right. First movement must be toward the ball. And then if the contact happens, it happens. But the contact with no movement to the ball is an illegal body check. We've got to get that. Also, we have to get this out of the game where these people from the side, from the wings are coming in. and they're checking the face-off guys whose heads are at the ground. That is not a push. That is an illegal body check. They are defenseless. All right. And use your judgment. If it's just a little tap, okay, maybe you go with the loose ball push. But if they use it with force, illegal body check it, we've got to get that out of the game. All right. Know where the far side wing players are before you put the ball down. All right. The ball is always going to start on the ground. All right. Just put the ball down, then you'll tell the players down. Single side, you will restart play after all violations. On the face off, I'm going to tell you, if I'm a 3-person, the new trail should start it. US Lacrosse is going to tell you the C should start it. Hey, the new trail is in position. That way the single side guy can go in and get down. So either one is right. I'm just telling you the pros and cons of both. Single side referee is responsible for the the face off. So that's the reason they're saying that he's got the restart on that. I'm telling you, kick down and let your trail do it, because that way you're in better position to make the next call. Either one works. All right. Physically adjust the player's position, including the cross. All right. So basically, I'm going to go through this and not read this exactly word for word, because that's boring. All right. Balls on the ground. That's how you start. All right, guys, let's go down together. Down. Players go down. Make sure the crosses are not touching the line. Make sure the sticks are not touching the line. Make sure the helmets are not over the crosses. Make sure that you can see the stick has a distinct color where you can see that color between the hand and the cross. Make sure the palm is up and the knuckles are on the ground. All right. Change your cadence as you're backing up. Hey, get them legs off the ground. Don't try to do no Michael Jackson, or you're going to do like I did last year. And you're going to do you're going to do a backwards roll. Hopefully you stick to landing and land on your feet. Get the feet up. Don't drag them. All right. So you back away, then get the whistle. Look, change it up. First time you may do 4 steps. Second time do 5 steps. Next time do 5 again. Just mix it up where they can't guess you. They will start guessing you if you become predictable. All right. Get away from the players. Let me tell you, that's how you can get hurt real bad. All right. So get away from them. All right. And know where the far side wing players are. This is important. I always try to take a peek at it, because I'm backing up. I do not want to back into one of them. So make sure that you know where you're going. Hey, JJ, thank you for that. And I'm going to finish this and we'll do it. Helper, assist with the face-off setup. Backs out diagonally, responsible for the left goal. Watch for early movement and violation. All right, you can call it. You do not, the face-off referee does not have to be the only one to call it. All right. Wings, we already talked about it. You got the other wings. Watch for possible interference violation. Keep all other players behind the restraining lines. Watch for early release. And the other wing official job, and it doesn't talk about it right here, is if we got a man down face, or hey, your job as a wing guy in this scenario, know the time of the people in the box. Also, if it's less than 10 or 15 seconds, remind those in the box, hey, you cannot release until possession is established. All right, make sure they know that. All right, the ball's going. This is kind of giving you the area of responsibilities. All right, face off, ball goes left. Lead is going down to GLE. Single side is getting down into the C position. Or look what it's telling you. Or you got to get down to the pylon. Make sure the substitution's there. When you're at that second area near midfield, you're doing offsides. Make sure offsides is good. Then you become the trail and you're getting between the line, the end of the wing restraining line, and the top of the box. Again, know your speed. If you cannot get down quickly, look, don't pinch in as close.
Bring it back out to center, the ensuing face-off. Remember, Matthew Gallagher, in the semifinal win on Wednesday, was 23 of 29 in the circle. He's got another one. Rams defender goes down.
All right, so that gave you an example of how it works. All right, face-off goes right. Single side's going down to C. The wing guy's going down to lead. Trail. The helper's going to the pylon, watching for the subs, then checking offsides, then going down in position.
So here we're going to look at the ball coming away from the lead left official or toward the wing official who is out of frame on the right-hand side of the screen. Here the lead left and face-off official are going to conduct the face-off. Players are down, the ball goes in between the sticks, set, and blow the whistle. Here the white player pushes the ball out. We have a big possession call, and now we're going right towards where the wing official used to be. Now he's the lead official on the right side of the field. So notice that the single side official is running down towards goal just to have extra goal coverage, and the lead official is in good position to watch the sideline and cover the play. Looking at this face-off one more time, get the ready signal, face-off gets conducted, the lead left official is getting out of the way just in case it gets pushed right towards him. But here the ball's going to go in the opposite direction. Get a nice big loud echoed possession call, and now the officials are moving to position, keeping a nice wide triangle between them.
And guys, there's no such thing as too many people call possession. Hey, let's just don't forget it. That's our important part. Same way with counting. Hey, I'd rather have 2 counts than no counts. But know who's got to count.
So here we'll look at.
All right. Pre-whistle, stand the players up. Without a whistle, signal state the violation. All right. If it's before you blow the whistle to start, double tweet and then state the reason and the violation. All right. Single side can handle it or the trail. Restart is from the spot of the violation. All right.
I found this on the web.
Lead left and lead right. Make sure boxes are locked. No release and delay restarts if necessary. All right. Here's an example of a violation at the face-off. Tweet, tweet, tweet. We're going it. There we go. All right. Possession. All right. Let's remember, back court, the back part of the field. They got 20 seconds to get it from there to the midline. Then they have 10 seconds to get it from the midline to inside the box. The single side, they have the timers. All right. All time single side. 20 seconds, 10 seconds. I messed that up yesterday multiple times. I forgot to start it on the single side, but I did it on the trail. Comes from basketball. Hey, it's not basketball mechanics. All right. Single side has all timers. All right. You should have a timer on your hip. All right. That'll give you the 20 seconds. All right. Then the 10, you got to make sure you're getting it up high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That way the coaches can see it. Primary responsibilities. Let's look at it. Lead official. The lead official's primary is goal. The goal line is the lead official's primary. All right. They also have crease violations on their side and the end line. They have the out of bounds on the end line. Remember, whistle to stop it, whistle to start it. Wind the clock. All right. Single side. Your primaries. You have the shooter. You have your sideline. It's just like basketball. The sideline behind you is yours. Now you can help in dead man's land, which is in the corner. But no, the sideline is yours. Again, you got the counts. All right, you got the first offside counts. Hey, basically, if the single side's catching that offsides, that means that, hey, it looked funky. All right. Single side. Also, you have GLE when the lead goes down to cover the end line. So slide down as the lead comes in or goes down, you slide down to cover GLE. As they come back, you slide up. Then also know it's like a rubber band. As the lead comes toward the goal, you're going back toward your sideline. As you go toward the goal, the lead's going to back up toward the edge of the box. Trail officials, your primary, you have the shooter and you basically have the after shot. They cannot light up the shooter after he shoots. You're protecting him. You have the sideline beside you, and you also have over and back at the midline. You also have the opposite goal. And like I said, you have over and back. Basically, over and back is the basketball term of backcourt. Now, talk about that a little bit just to remind you. Remember, over and back, they have to establish possession inside the box before you can get an over and back. So just remember that. You have trail. Offsides is your primary responsibility. All right. You have the second offsides count. Hey, once you get the count and you're right and you're in the front court, hey, sub goes off. You're watching him go off. You're watching him come in.
This situation, each team has possession of the ball, and play is settled for a period of time. The officials in each team come in to train all three officials. The lead official on the left side of your screen, single side official, and the trail official in the bottom of your screen. The blue player carries the ball towards the lead official, who wisely backs up at an angle to keep the play in front of him, and then follows the play below goal line extended. Trail official pinches in a little bit, and the single side official covers the goal since the lead official was below goal line extended. On the turnover, trail official broke upfield. As we watch the situation again, we're going to freeze the clip as the offensive player pushes the ball towards the goal from X. Once again, the blue player brings the ball down below goal line extended, and the field becomes a little stretch. The triangle is wide. Now, as the player comes up toward goal line extended, I'm going to pause right here and notice the position of the lead and single side officials as the play develops. Right here, and see the lead and single side officials make no real attempt to get in closer to the play when there is a close crease play in front of the goal. This play will be covered much better with the single side official here inside the hash marks. The lead official at this point in time should be closing in on the hash marks here to cover the crease area more fully between the lead and single side officials. In this situation, the blue team is in position.
All right. On ball, off ball. The lines. All right. This is single side or the C. You have the orange line. Trail. Again, you have the gray line here. You have that out of bounds call on your sideline, and then you have the over and back. Lead, you have the in line. All right, goal is scored. Lead, you're making the signal that the goal is good. Trail's watching the shooter. Single side's watching the shooter and their area. Goal is good. Single side's coming in. Trail normally is backing up, but for this animation, it's being nice. All right, lead. You're going to become the new single side. Single side, or trail, you're the new helper. Single side, you're the new wing guy. Guys, we want to do that transition in less than 20 seconds. From the time that the ball is there to the time that we're starting down, we would like to do that in 20 seconds. Now, do remember, they do have 20 seconds to get players on and off the field during this time. All right, so we can't don't get in a hurry. Get in a hurry to get there. That way you can write your score down, and we'd rather you be waiting on the players than the players to be waiting on us. All right, so just get there, then write your score down on your scorecard, or make sure it got put on the board, and then you move on there. All right. Here comes the shot. The goal is good. Notice the lead is coming in, makes the signal for the goal. The single side came across, and the trail guy is out of the vision. There we go. All right. Over and back. All right, it's the trail's responsibility for over and back. If an over and back is called, the trail official stops play and the single side restarts. Over and back, it is a single side restart because most time they want that to happen quick. All right, so get it going. All right. If it's an inline, the lead is the restart. The sideline, the trail is the restart. If it's a single side, the single side has the restart. All right. Deep restarts. This is when we're in transition, okay? The ball goes out of bounds and the defense gets the ball and now becomes the new offense. All right. Your job, when we set this up, the trail will have that whistle. All right. Stay just behind the ball, move upfield. As the ball crosses midfield, we talked about that part of it. Single side, if the ball goes out of bounds on your side, just point it in. That tells your partner that, hey, the ball's in, that he's in bounds. Let your partner blow that whistle. All right. If not, you got to stand there and babysit it. Don't just run and get to center field. Again, let's talk about it. Save your legs. Get there. All right. Because the single side, you want to be at the midline because what? You have the 10-second count. So when they cross the 10 line, 10 seconds. All right. Notice this is balls out of bounds and we're transitioning. Singles going to the midline. Lead is going down. Trail stops at the pylon. Single and lead go down in their respective positions. Then trail comes along. Fast break. Lead is busting their tail. All right. Lead in this scenario. If we get a fast break, you got to bust it. Single side. You're almost working on one man with the trail coming up to help you clean it up. Trail, once you've seen the lead take it, that's when you can take the responsibilities of the box and everything. We got to help each other on those fast breaks. Because I'm going to just tell you, I mean, I know Bryce is on the call. And I'm not ashamed to say this. If Bryce is the lead, I ain't got to do much as a trail because Bryce is going to get down there and set up real quick. He's Speedy Gonzalez. All right. And I also know if Bryce is the trail, Bryce is going to have my back. Even though I'm busting running as hard as I can, Bryce is fast enough. He's going to get there and take care of my back. All right. So just know on fast breaks, help each other. But realistically, it's kind of like basketball. Single side and trail, you got the primary coverage until the lead is established. All right. Penalty relays. Inform your partners of the plays. This is where radios help a ton. Make sure you get to open spaces. All right. If you're single side, you're going to send it across. All right. Take a breath before you say it. Be aware of your pace, tone, volume. Slow, calm, and relax. All right. When and why? Single side throws the flag. They're telling trail the penalty. Trail turns around, reports the penalty that they just had. All right. The person goes to the penalty box and the ball starts in the alley. All right, we're going through. I'm going through this. All right. Make sure on reporting that you get them in. And then the final part of reporting, hey, we make sure that we all know the time. All right. So we'll say 5:40 but what we're really saying is the release is at 5:40. You're going to hear some of us yell out 56, 46, 45, 55. What we're telling you is the players. All right. Defense is first. Offense is second. 45 means I got 4 on defense, 5 on offense. Remember, we count forward. So it's what's in front of us. All right. So 45 means I got 4 on defense, 5 on offense. 46. 56 is a common one. All right. Then when it's even, a lot of us will put our hands up and that will to let us know that we are even. Come on, computer. All right, at the end of the game, we end. We do not have to sign the scorebook, but what we do, I just said it, but what we would like to do is get a picture of the score sheet that they used to show the fouls, especially if it was a very physical game. All right. Then leave the facility. Leave together. Your R should tell you where to park. All right, JJ, it's yours for the state clinic part.
Okay. A couple things we would start the state clinic. In Dragonfly, we need the referees to put a referee or a member of the crew, somebody from the crew, make sure you put in the score, because that's going to help us postseason as we advance through the tournament bracket with Dragonfly. A couple things I want to cover first that I was watching, because I know this is the problem when I was learning. The cross is made up of a stick and a head. So when John was referring to the cross with the face-off people touching the cross, they can't touch the head of the cross. And the color of the tape and the handle must be contrasting colors with the head. Okay. John mentioned that the boxes are locked. What does that mean, John?
Whenever you're doing a face-off, they cannot enter. The boxes are they cannot come out of a penalty situation during a face-off.
Right. They have to wait.
Boxes locked down. You have to wait till possession.
There we go. The other thing that was a technique I learned was when you have an over and back situation, either the trail or the single side, or the lead and the single side, when the ball heads towards that mid-court line, somebody's yelling, it's on, which means you have an over and back situation to help that trail know that we've got an over and back situation. Because in order to have an over and back situation, the ball has to get a touch. Because you'll hear coaches hollering, get a touch. And getting a touch means the player with the ball has to get 1 foot on the line of the restraining line, inside the box of the restraining line. The other thing is you'll also hear coaches sometimes get to the X. And I spent probably half a season trying to figure out what that was, but that X is right behind the goalie, the goal circle. That's where they start some of their offensive plays at. The other thing, John was showing some videos of players taking a shot and getting checked. So everybody knows what a legal check is, correct? When you have a check from the side or in the front. Now, there's one more thing that sometimes people forget. He has to have within so many feet of the ball, so many yards of the ball. So if he's taking a shot and that ball is already left his cross on the shot at a pretty good clip, and he gets whacked, that's an illegal body check. So we can help clean up the game if we start calling those. So just keep that in mind. If he throws that ball and passes it and it starts and he's not nowhere near the ball and he gets the spot cleaned, flag it.
And by rule, they got to be within 5 yards of the ball.
Yeah. One more thing, for the new guys, there's gonna be times where you're gonna forget who fouled. So who goes in the box? You can't not call the penalty. You're gonna have to call the penalty. So if you forget who fouled, what do we do?
The in-home gets it.
All right, the in-home gets it. That radio is helping that situation because you could just sit there and say, I got 27 was illegal with a slash. So you could be playing for 2 or 3 minutes because you holler flag down. Now the offense knows they got a free shot on goal. So.
And if let me say this, I didn't say this earlier, but that reminded me. Offsides. If the defensive team is offsides and you throw the flag for offsides, they know they're offsides. So they're going to continue playing offsides until that second flag. You don't kill the play. You let them play with 7 defenders in that case because they're going to get the offsides penalty. But what they don't want to have happen is, hey, we're fixing to go in for 30 seconds. You ain't going to daggone score on us if I've got 7 people out there. So they just keep playing. All right. Now, if they bring another person down there to make an offsides, well, then you got a second flag. But that first one, hey, they got 7 players down there on defense. You let that play. You throw the flag.